Recording now.
All right. When it says Dibur Eis Daber Lakshis, the point they line right? Eis Daber Lakshis. Is buying Gimel, you said?
Yeah.
I don't see an Ayin Gimel.
Okay.
See an Ayin Gimel?
Kuf Ayin.
Oh, Kuf Ayin.
Line starts Shepushet, second line Shepushet.
Yeah. Okay. Smack in the middle of the page. There's two lines beginning with what's a question. You pick which one you want. They're both good lines.
Yeah, but that's good.
Yes.
Machshava is the first way that a person's able to relate to his nefesh in a worldly sense.
You know what sense?
In a worldly sense. A worldly sense, not a worldly meaning that we in the negative sense, but worldly meaning like
In a conscious sense.
conscious sense. Yes.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Remember when I was first taught Chachma in the most basic way, they said you ever had you couldn't get something and then all of a sudden you get it. Are we able to experience like Chachma and then developing it and then making it das? Is that something which...
You know what? Let's not fly away. Let's stay here quick. So we're saying machshava is a levush, is a garment. We're going from the goof, being a levush nefesh, and that which we said is really a mechuber in the sense that you cannot divest yourself of it, as we discussed this morning. That this union between the machshava, between the nefesh and the goof, has a godly reality. So if there is separation, you're violating you're taking away the godly reality. It's not that you're changing something. You can't change it. It's either there or it's not there.
Separating what from what?
The neshama from the goof. So the goof from the neshama cannot be separated. It's not that it means cannot be separated and remain a human being. That's what it means. Machshava is on a different. Is also a levush, very close to levush, but on some different level. Because machshava can be exchanged. You can think one thing and then stop this thought process and think in something else. But there is this principle in machshava that machshava mishoitetes tomid. It is fluttering. Mishoitetes is hovering all the time. There is not a moment during a person's life where machshava is not active. It's not hovering. Whether he is conscious as machshava, he is not conscious as machshava, but machshava is there all the time. Machshava is the level of the good being aware of that it's alive. That's machshava. And as long as he's living, he has to be aware that he's alive. And that's why machshava has to be on a constant basis. So this morning we started this on this point, and the question remained, why must you be aware? And the neshama is in the goof. Why is that a necessity? That there should be the awareness and machshava in order that life consists of being aware that you're alive. That was your question.
Yeah, it seems like a silly question.
Excuse me?
Seems like a silly question, but I don't know the answer, so.
Good enough.
And part of, it's
The truth is, it's not a silly question. Although I understand why you say it's a silly question. And here there's a very engaging and deep meaning associated with this.
Before, can we just say what this question is? Why should it be that a person must have thought continuously? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay.
So we said that the thought, the continuous thought, represents a person's awareness of his life. Why must there be an awareness of life? Why can't he live? That's because the neshama is in there. So actually, in the Tefillah class, and we really mentioned this in here, I think we mentioned it here some time ago. There's an important principle. Actually, in this minor, like I said, it started by saying that the Gemara says that at first there was the kilusayas, and the praise of Hashem came from the fish, from the Rum Shebiyam. Rum Shebiyam are comparable to deaf creatures, and then Rum Shebiyam are comparable to Pikhin, and their praises are completely different quality.
Mute.
Paltiel, you mean deaf or mute?
Mute.
Mute. They don't speak. Fish don't speak.
Now, what is the pshat fish don't speak? Let's discuss it now. We're talking about Shom Mishikat Stone. Grim Shebiyam are actually considered, in a certain sense, superior to Grim Shebiyam. In that the Grim Shebiyam, they're intricacy, they're inherently connected to their source. They don't have an independent identity. They're connected with their source constantly, totally. Like I also mentioned, they don't even have the element of standing up on their own feet. They are constantly supported by the water, and in our terms, they are constantly in bed. They don't have the whole element of holding themselves up. Rum Shebiyabosha have this supreme quality that they stand on their own cognizance. They're also receiving chayas, but they receive chayas as separate entities. They receive chayas, and therefore there's this quality in Rum Shebiyabosha that is not present in Rum Shebiyam. Let me put it back on this, otherwise it's going to burn me. The Rum Shebiyam are connected to their source, but they're not at all aware of us. They don't have a self-awareness. Rum Shebiyabosha, on the other hand, so they have this union that they have a self-awareness, and then they're aware of the chayas that they receive. That has superior quality. So because they appreciate the chayas, this is why, and it says the praise coming from the Rum Shebiyabosha is like pikhin. Pikhin means open-minded and wise creatures. They know what they're saying, because they have they have this process of receiving the chayas. So even though they recognize that they are totally dependent on this chayas, without this chayas they cannot live. But their mili is that they're aware of this, and therefore they can give praise. This is the principle of intellect. This is the principle of machshava meshetetes tomit, because chayus cannot be interrupted. Chayus cannot be interrupted. It has to be a constant. And here is the so to speak, we can say the wondrous quality of machshava. It is a conscious awareness, and yet it's a constant. Mishetetes tomit. In other words, he is constantly aware in machshava that he has a chayes. This is the unique element in the Brum Shebiyabosha. In the classes I talk about in Tefillah, we talked about Moide Anil Lefanecha, and the same thing later on in the Lekah and the Neshama. Neshama Shemasata be Kozman Shanshama Kivi Moide Anil Lefanecha. The need for Moide Anil Lefanecha is of primary importance to the human being. Primary. Because if a person would be getting everything through his chokhmah, and with its process, he understands what he is getting. Then there could not be this constancy. Everything has to be processed and evaluated. Even though he can come to its conclusion, but it's not constant. You touch this, and I feel it, but first I touch it, and then I feel it. There's no constancy. Chayil has to be constant. The constancy of chayus, there's much deeper in your this, but on this simple level, the constancy of chayus, since it's both, it's a machshava, it's awareness, and yet it's constant. It comes in the form of hador. What is hador? So in Chassidus, whenever hador is discussed in detail, it says hador is kimoy, as the example in the Gemara, moy bim chacham leRab Meir. That's the expression in Chassidus. Moy bim chacham leRab Meir. But, and that's it. What does that mean? How is this help to understand? Moy bim chacham leRab Meir. You're shaking your head like you understand it. Please, you do? Tell me.
No one really understood Rab Meir. He was higher than everybody.
Yeah, but what's how is that? What's the point?
They recognized that he was with the halacha.
There's other meir. There's an example with the other meir, not only meir. The principle that Ibodan Kmoi Meir Meir means the following. Anything that one learns, even he learns from a Rebbe, from a teacher, which is really the right way to learn. He first learns what the teacher says, and then he absorbs it in his own seichel. And he does not have it until he absorbs it in his own seichel. And it begins to make sense to him. Even though it is his teacher who taught it to him, but he, so to speak, agrees with it. At least he knows what his teaching is saying, and why he's saying it. He may have questions, he does not understand it in the same way as his teacher understands it, but he digests it in his own mind.
That's the Wadal.
What? No, that's learning, that's normal learning. Even if one learns from a teacher. Let's take an extremely simple example. A teacher is teaching AyinBase to the children. The children have no idea of the AyinBase. But the teacher is telling them, this is an aleph. So then that means that they know the aleph only because the teacher taught it to them. But it's not the category of Hidorah. Why not?
Because the aleph is right.
Because the child sees the aleph. All the teachers tells him, this is what it's called. So yes, it is the teacher who is telling him that this is what it's called. And he trusts the teacher is telling him the truth. But not that the teacher is creating the whole reality. This is still learning. I accept what you say to me, but I have a reason why I accept.
And what's the reason? Is because it's right there?
What?
A reason that you accept is because it's right there?
Think. Don't ask any questions. Is there a question here or not?
You just mentioned that
I don't want to speak everything. I want we should use chokhmah. When the teacher says this is an aleph, and the child says, oh, this is an aleph, is that called hidah or is that learning? The child's mind, so to speak, agree with this. You understand the point?
Why would his mind not agree with it?
No, there is no reason not to agree. There's no reason. But the point is, you missed the point. The point is run through his intellect. He says it's an aleph, okay. I have no problem with it. I understand it. I believe it's an aleph.
And that's the door right there?
No, it's not a door. That's a normal seichel process.
As opposed to...
Oh, this is normal six.
This is normal seichel. Because there's an aleph on the table. This aleph, this form, has to have a name. That I know on my own. The teacher always tells me the name is such and such.
It must have a meaning. There's something there. It must
That's
have a
right. It
meaning.
has to, exactly right. This is what seichel. It has to have a meaning. What is the meaning of this? The teacher tells me the meaning of this is an aleph. Okay, I trust you. Why should you lie to me? You're not really creating anything. This is normal seichel process. Even the seichel, like you say, okay, I see an aleph. What is it? That's seichel. Who tells it? Who says that it's something? Because it has to be something. Somebody wrote it. What is it?
And this is in contrast to.
Okay, we'll see what the contrast is. But this is the first thing. This is learning. Even though a child is learning completely from the teacher, it still entails a learning process. And if it entails a learning process, that means that there is a gap between knowing and not knowing. I came from not knowing to knowing. As a matter of fact, when I look at the aleph can be in two states. I know what it is and I don't know what it is.
I know what it is and I don't know what it is.
Life is a constant. It cannot have two states. You understand that?
You say it can't be and not be.
What's missing in what I said? How can anything be inconstant? You're talking about Brum Yabosha. Brum Yabosha are self-conscious. How can they know anything on a constant basis? Which means they know it without having previously not known, without having a question about it. Like, what is that? Okay, this is a little bit subtle, but I'd like to say to you, if you know something without there being a question about it, you know it at the level of its source, not at the level of presentation. You understand that?
Again, if you know something as a constant, then you know it at the level of its source.
The source is making it known to you.
The source, it's known to the source, it's known to you. That's simultaneous.
What does that mean?
It means Moedim Chacham Reb Meir. When Moedim Chacham Reb Meir means the Chacham did not even examine what Reb Meir said. They know it because Reb Meir knows it. That's Moedim. Moedim means not I know it because you told it to me. I know it because you know
Is this like the story you told us a few weeks ago about the fellow who always said something because so-and-so said it? with a name.
Yeah, no, this is, you know what? Let's forget about examples right now because this is too subtle to go into example. After we have everything on the table and we understand what I'm talking about, then we'll try to compare to other things. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is the meaning what Chassidus brings down. What is Haidah? K'moy moedim chacham Reb Meir.
And the meaning there was they know because he knows?
Yeah, that's right. They're moided to Reb Meir, not that they agree with him. They see his point, or they believe him. They don't have an inkling of what he is saying.
This is submission? They submit?
This is called Haidah. Moida, it's called Moidi.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Acknowledge. You say, so okay, that's it.
This is separate from agreement. This is separate from learning.
Complete something, like I say, a child learns an aleph.
Yes, this is not that.
A dayan is not allowed that. In other words, if he was in the Sanhedrin, you couldn't paskin him like that. That's
Well,
not.
again, I'm trying to, we should get the point. This will not help us. All of these questions will only confuse, only deviate. What, Baruch?
On what basis are the Chachamim moedim Reb Meir?
They're moed to Reb Meir because they are completely bottled to Reb Meir. And they want to know what Reb Meir knows, not what Reb Meir can impart to them. Oh, Kishimayu, okay. Success.
Thank you.
Das meint Meidem. Meidem anachnu loch. Meid ani lefonech. What does that mean? Do I understand what I'm made of? Did it go through my intellectual process? The phenomenon of life, we have an idea what it means to live. After we live, do we have an idea what it means? Is it something that went through our intellectual acceptance? Do you understand what I'm saying?
If we're aware of it, it's beyond aware of it.
Aware or unaware? Did it go through the process of intellectual acceptance?
No.
Do we know what it's about? No, not an inkling. How do we then live? Very intelligent. Maida. We live because Hashem wants us to live, not because we want to live. We live because Hashem said we are alive, and not because we recognize that we are alive. We don't even know what it means.
Yeah, we can be Maida or non-Maida.
To me,
In other words, there still has to be the Maida. In other words, there's.
no. Yeah, it has to be a Maida, but this Maida machshov mishetat to stop it. We're constantly Maida.
Ready? Thought?
Maida implies a conscious action.
This is the contrast between us and the fish. The fish also has a constant inflow of life, and we have a constant inflow of life. The fundamental difference.
That you could bring us to this. It's really fantastic.
There's no moed haidah by fish.
What?
There's no haidah by fish.
No, you don't. No, not at all.
What if they're herring at the ground? I don't know if I'm getting that it's an awareness, but it's constant. On the other hand, we said it's beyond awareness. What's outside of comprehension, but yet it's
Comprehension and awareness are not the same thing.
So it's outside of comprehension, but yet there's awareness.
Yeah, that's what it should be about Shar. This is machshava. Machshava is that it comes through oisius. I hear, but I hear not what I'm hearing. I hear what you are saying. That's moida.
And you can't have hodah without machshava.
No, you could. No, not an affair. No, you could not have it on machshava.
What was it? What was that question?
Could you
can't
have
have
life
hodah
without
without
machshava?
That's right. That was a
You
question.
could have. You could have, like fish have it without machshava. But dry land creatures who are aware of this, that's the whole thing. They are aware of it, and then that enables them eventually, to impart that information to their intellect and to their emotion. That has to be to machshava.
That has to be.
Through machshava.
So fish are alive, but the person is aware that it's alive. The person is aware that that it's coming, that life is coming from a source. That there's a what's the okay, this guy calm down.
Sure.
No, it's not you.
No.
I'm sorry, it's not you.
So machshava b'shitetas tamid, that's the hodah going on?
That's the heidah, right.
I'm sorry, what was that on that?
Machshava and Shetetas Tomid, this is like heidah. Because if it's Tomid, I don't have a moment to judge, to absorb. If I had to absorb, it couldn't be Tomid.
But the fact that machshava is oisius and presumably gets pretty concrete, how does that fit with?
No, concrete, that's already when it comes into intellect. The sense of machshava Shetetas Tomid is not concrete at all.
Yet we do say oisius, which are
Oisius.
avanim,
That's what I want exactly right.
and yet that fits with this hodah that we're talking about.
What is the meaning that oases are called avonim? Evan means a stone. In the case of a stone, there are two parts of the stone. There is the stone, the hardness of the stone, the presence of the stone, and the shape of the stone. When you encounter a stone, your experience of a stone is the first experience is the hardness. Somebody throws a stone at you. Does it make a difference what shape it is? You know of it because of the stone element. Then also there are different shapes. That becomes in a second level. The first level is, hey, you're alive, you're alive, you're alive. You feel, right? You're here. That's the first, that's oisius. That's avonim. This is tomid. This is constant. There is no judgment, there's no examination as to what the shape of the stone is. The neshama is constantly giving a person a sense of self-consciousness through oisius.
And by fish, they're just not given this sense.
Doesn't have that. They don't have that at all. They are literally one with the water. There is no translation there.
The water being the source.
The only being that would give him life.
So so we're given the gift of consciousness. We're given.
Exactly right. That gift of consciousness brings along the gift of intellect. And the gift of emotion, the gift of judgment, good and bad. Everything. The human being. But it's important to understand, important to know, that the life element of a person, this is the big folly of the secular, of the Chassidus. When you know what life is, if you know what life is, you're not alive. The only way you can live is by submission.
Is it possible? I mean, is it possible not to submit?
No. But it's possible from the Chitzenis, from the Grobker, I'd like to be in control of my life. This is what the whole stupid world is about. You say God created the world. Oh, that's too mysterious. I have to know what God is. You can't know what God is. Do you know what life is? Well, if I can't know what God is, then I don't want to know life. I want to know this sweet, is this sour, is this pleasant, is not. I don't want to know what life is. That's what happens.
It would be like cutting off the life element.
Absolutely, cutting off the life element.
You're left with some kind of tangible thing. But
Yeah, that which I can experience. And then they say, "Oh, we are intelligent. We know what we're talking about." Of course you know it, because you're blind. That's why you know what I'm talking about. It's like a blind person walking around feeling his way in the darkness. And a seeing person sees the whole thing, and he says, and he talks to the blind person, I don't know what you're talking about. You're imagining things. I really know what's going on. Yeah, that's our debate. There's a says Apostle in Tehillim, Ma'evat Chakmeini Mitzvah. Ma'evat Chakmeini, Chassidus explains, Ma'evat Chakmeini means that from our enemies we become wise. When we contrast our wisdom to their stupidity, that's when we first realize how wise our wisdom is.
Can I ask a kind of stupid question?
As long as it's from inside.
Well, so I don't know if it's from inside. You'll tell me if it's not from inside.
Okay, go ahead, brother.
So if it's tamid, it means that this kind of machshava that we're talking about, if you're awake, if you're asleep, if you're, drifting, it doesn't matter. It's always happening.
That's right. When you're asleep, when you're awake, when you, Rahman al-Salam, if you're in faint, if you're alive, there is machshava.
If you're in a coma,
If you're in a coma,
Machshava is
Rahman
mutter.
al-Salam.
Come on, let's fly. Is this what we generally mean when we talk about and use the term machshava?
This is machshava sheba machshava, you know, saying this is the upper element of machshava. Here we're talking on that level because we want to contrast this lebush in the etzem. Well, this is the etzem machshava, but there are different levels of machshava.
So we just to clarify, this what we just finished explaining about machshava. This is synonymous with chaydo.
Right, this is what I explained. Now this level of machshava is properly called haidah because you don't know what you're thinking about. You're not passing judgment.
You kind of made thing.
You accept it. You accept it. That's why it's called moida. That's moida nefanacha. That is the spark of life in the goof, in a person's life. This is what makes a person say, "Oh, I better do something with my life. Better do something with my time." Because I'm given life. I'm giving awareness of life. Yes.
Who is it that's accepting? In other words, the neshama is the real person. The group is nothing. This is the consciousness. In other words, Hashem is giving up.
This is where the goof and the neshama are one. This is the slapshot and neshama and the goof in the most finest way. Where the goof comes to life. The goof is not alive. How does the goof come to life?
So it's like the living group is accepting this. The group is accepting it.
The oisias are making the group aware that it's alive. So the oisias are not sure.
This is the contact point between
The contact point. Maybe I went too far, but I think we understand what I'm talking about.
Rabbi Paltiel?
Just wanted to explain the words. Yes, sir.
So, in terms of the inseparability of the neshama and the guf, this came as a mashal to a person cannot divest himself of shame. Is that right?
Of the goof. The neshama cannot divest itself from the goof.
That's what I'm asking. Where is the nimshal over here? That a person cannot divest himself of his name.
From his own name, right.
His own name.
Right.
Etzim cannot divest itself of having an oyer.
Right.
And we're saying here, who's who in this mashal? The neshama cannot divest itself of the group, or vice versa?
They're inseparable. Clearly, it would be the neshama from the guf because the guf has no other consciousness but from the neshama. But here, this is not the neshama; it's not the guf. It is the entity that God created, which is a neshama in a guf.
neshama in a goof. So the neshama and the goof are inseparable.
Right.
If you want to have a human being, you need this.
That's right. God creates a human being. Since the time is almost up, let me tell you something which is extremely insightful, extremely rich. I explained to you also in the class in the Tefillah. It says, Breshit Bora Elokim as Hashamayim as Haaretz. As Hashamayim, Haaretz means the heavens and the earth. Now, there was no heaven and earth before this creation. So what should be the proper expression in this passage?
Shemayim V'aretz.
Shemayim V'aretz. It's not Hashamayim V'aretz. There is nothing there. You with me, Yitzhak?
No, I don't get it. I don't get the distinction.
I explained, I had the same problem over there. You're writing on your paper, okay? You're writing on your poem. I just said, oh, you're writing on poems? Okay, where is your apple? Where's the apple? What apple? I'm writing. I don't need an apple to write. If I asked you, where's the pencil, you would say, oh, yeah, that's a proper question. In other words, that's expected. That belongs in this setting. The apple doesn't belong in the setting. So if saying where is the apple is a stupid question. I mean, it's incongruous. You're creating a new entity.
Right.
You create thou art, the earth, and this shall have.
So it's like saying that it already existed.
So
before it was created.
what are you talking about? There's nothing there. So he says you created a world that has Shemayim and Haaretz. Two separate entities. And Hashemayim and Haaretz. That question is, I think, quite clear. What's the explanation in this passage? Okay, here I really want you to think with me.
Well, if you want us to listen, you have to just speak a little bit louder for those of us in the conference room.
All right. Breshis Bora Elokim. Who is the creator that you're talking about? God. Elokim, God. God does not create mono-dimensional entities. We already know what that means. We create wholesome, complete, real entities. We spoke lately about the assembly line. Remember I was talking about the assembly line? No, recent days. The assembly line. People were standing on the assembly line and building cars. They're not building cars. This one put in a screw, this one put in a screw. A car materialized someplace down the line. He didn't even know what he was doing. As a result of that, it was a lemon. The car, every car that came over the assembly line had something wrong with it. Because nobody built a car. I read one time that the Japanese, they didn't follow this model. They had a team that creates a car. That's why their cars are really solid cars. They don't have any problems. They took over the market. They completely put America to shame.
Except these days they had a problem with airbags.
Airbags, okay. The Rebbe doesn't create the world in an assembly line fashion. He creates the earth. Oh, I need the sky. Oh, okay. I need this. No, he created the world. The way he defines the world. Everything that was put into the world is part of that real entity that got created. Rashi explains that all things that materialize in the sixth day of creation were created the first day. They were all there in the earth, all of them. Because an earth that doesn't have vegetation, earth that cannot sustain livestock, it's not an earth.
Wait, they were all there initially, but only kind of, let's say, revealed.
They came forth.
And the point here is this kind of completeness, this wholeness. Reality, real things. Mm-hmm. Human beings build a house and first have to be one wall, another wall. It's not. Okay, they have in mind a house, not assembly line fashion. It's assembly line fashion, but their plan is somebody has to have a full plan. Otherwise, it'll really go off kilter. But the Rebbe doesn't create an assembly line fashion. He creates the entire thing because he's creating a real thing. Precious Borokim as Hashamayim ve'Haaretz ha'aretz. What are the major two ingredients, two parts of what the Rishi creation is the Shamayim and the Haaretz. Why not say bara ha'olam? Why not just one word? I mean, we cannot have a world without a sky.
Because the word bara means revealed. The whole parsha speaks about how the world came to be revealed. The first thing that was revealed is Shamayim and Haaretz. Hashamayim and Haaretz. And then from there came revealed other things.
Why are you wanting to say this to us now in relationship to what we learned tonight? What's the connection?
The connection is that the neshama in the guf are not two separate things. There is the machshava mashetat stone, and that is the human being. It's not two separate things. There's a neshama, and there's a group, and then there's machshava. He knows and he doesn't know. That's what David created. David created a human being, a living human being, with all the elements that go into it, that make it.
Just like the Hashemayim is a complete and full thing, and Haaretz, so the human being is a whole and complete thing.
Right. Actually, the Hashemayim and Haaretz are speaking about the complete creation. That means Hashemayim, the Shamayim and the Haaretz. Of what? Of a complete creation. This is why a human being, it says in Yom Yom, he said it many times, he repeated it many times, a human being, the one uniqueness about the human being, that's why he is a real creature. because he sees Shomayim and Oretz at the same time. He sees a real world. Remember that Hayom Yom? Everybody should remember. So yeah, maybe I went a little too far, but I just could not resist getting Akiva a little more excited.
That's great.
You got something written up? All right, gentlemen, this is it for this evening.
la la la